Hi, Kimberly. Thank you for your note. Dave, should I wait another moment before starting? Okay. Oh, you're muted.
It, it would be, it's likely that a few more people come in the next minute or so, or 2 minutes, but you two and to start.
Okay. I'll just wait a minute then.
Mhm. Hi, Natalie.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi,
Hi,
Robert.
Dakili.
Oh, hi. All these people from class. Oh, it's Kedra Lama Yeshe Ling Ming.
Sorry, I'm worried if I change the name, then tomorrow I'll forget to put it
No,
back. Too
that's
lazy.
doubly official.
Yeah. It's actually because sometimes we get confused as where the sound is coming from. If there's a lot of Lama Yeshilings.
Yeah, we share the same accounts.
Well, and I know I'm well cared for then. Okay, I think I'll start then, since it's 101 or thereof. Um, Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Annie Bien, and I just wanted to say I'm really happy and honored to be able to practice this sadhana written by His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, with you. And I also wanted to thank Geshe Sonam and Kedrup and Dave and Minoshi for thinking of me as their friend. So, I feel like this is a beautiful way to bring 2023 to an end and welcome 2024. So I would like to begin with a short meditation from Abhidharma practice, which is just a breathing meditation to bring us back into the practice space after our lunch break. So all we're going to do is you're going to sit comfortably and take awareness of your breath, because the breath is the connection from our body to our minds. And you can either place your hands on your knees, or you can place your hand in the dhyana meditation pose, left hand holding right, the thumbs touching and resting that in your lap. And then what we're going to do is count our breath in inhalation and exhalation. Each is a separate number. For example, you're going to do inhale 1, exhale 2, inhale 3, exhale 4, and do this all the way up to 10 on your own. And now you're just going to repeat this another time, counting from 1 to 10, and notice if your breath changes now that you've done one round, if it's slowed down. And just notice if your mind is settling in a different way. Because I'm nervous, I can really hear my heart beating loudly, but I'm sure you aren't having that experience. So just relax and count again 1 to 10. Okay, and then just relax and come back into the room. Before we begin the actual practice, I also wanted to share some thoughts with you about how understanding Tibetan language in translation has from Tibetan into English has had a big impact on my Buddhist practice. It's kind of been an exposure of words and terms that have helped me to look at sadhana practice in a different way and clarifying that everything that you hear in Tibetan scriptures are hints on how to practice. I'm not sure if everyone heard His Holiness's teaching early this morning or late last night, that he did talk about how one particular word is broken down etymologically, and it really and it kind of encouraged me to think that I'm not crazy to try to share this with you, actually. But he talked about this word Buddha, which is Sangye in Tibetan, and he said that if you know it as two separate words or separate syllables, the word sang means overcoming all your faults and defilements and defects and to increase good qualities. And the word ge means to expand the mind, to have knowledge of everything. So this is what being a Buddha is. This is what you're aspiring to be. And it's kind of nice to know what that is besides the word Buddha or Sangye, because it also gives you information on how your practice might develop if you are able to expand your mind, if you're able to overcome your defilements, increase your good qualities. And the other thing he talked about was the word chenrezi. And also Geshe Sonam mentioned this yesterday, that chen is the word for eyes, and he is the word chenrezi is your eyes, his eyes gazing on all beings, all sentient beings at all times. The word for chenrezi in Sanskrit is Avalokiteshvara, and Lokeshvara is Avalo is the Lord of all worlds, and Kiteshvara is the Lord. So this is the Lord who looks down over all living beings with compassion. So these are little hints. So when you're practicing, you actually know what you're aspiring for and who the one is that is inspiring you to practice. And then to bring that into the idea of a sadhana practice, I'd like you to know that the word sadhana actually means perfection and completion. And the Tibetan word is druptap, which is to accomplish through method. So it's also a method to completion. And what is it that you're accomplishing? You're trying to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So then the other words that come up all the time, and I feel like what happens so often when we are practicing is that we learn terms and we kind of go, okay, I got it. I got the word. I know what it means. And then you kind of forget it after a while. You have the idea of it and you work with a cliche of the word rather than what the word actually means. And so I just wanted to read to you the word meditation, which is what we're doing all the time. In English, I looked up a definition for English because I'm very fond of dictionaries, which probably it's surprising to some people. But English definition of the word meditation from the Cleveland Clinic that scientists are using to help people who have health problems, that meditation is a practice that involves focusing or clearing your mind using a combination of mental and physical techniques. So yes, it is that. In Sanskrit, the word for meditation is dhyana, and it is defined in one of the commentaries of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras, the Mahaprajna Paramita Shastra. It says meditation is the concentrating of the distracted mind. So it's a specific activity. And then in the Sanskrit, the Indian philosophers were really poetical writers. So they had great imagery for describing what this distraction is. And in this one particular part, it says, distractions whirl about more easily than the down feathers of the wild goose. If their flying off is not restrained, their speed is greater than that of a hurricane. They're harder to contain than a monkey. They appear and disappear more quickly than lightning. If the characteristic of the mind is at this point not fixed, those who want to control it would not succeed without dhyana. So it's been recognized for a long time that our minds are filled with thoughts, distractions, all sorts of things, but meditation is a way to slow our thoughts down, our distractions, and to find a calmness. And that brings me to the word gom in Tibetan, which is the word to meditate, and it means to familiarize, to habituate, to cultivate a different way of, I would say, a different way of how you breathe, how you behave, because first, you're familiarizing yourself with not being distracted, which is a really hard thing to do. And then you are also trying to familiarize yourself with a habit that is going to take you off from being negative all the time. And then what happens when you do that is you start to get a habit of wanting to do that. This is your meditation practice. And then after that, you want to cultivate it into a very specific way of behaving. And this is kind of like a very broad stroke comment on the word meditation in these 3 different languages. So my introduction into Tibetan language started with my personal interest in words because English was not my primary language. And I met a teacher named Chungla Rato Rinpoche who taught me how to approach learning Tibetan as Buddhist practice. And this is mainly what I'm wanting to share with you. And he, when I first met him, I was in a class at Columbia University with grad students, and we had a copy of the commentary of the Uttara Tantra, the Sublime Continuum, that was written by Gyaltsab Je. And I had no idea what was going on. The student was reading really fast. I was panicked. I could barely read the Tibetan language, didn't have much knowledge of scripture. And I was very intimidated. I went to my teacher, Chungla Rinpoche, and I said to him, "Oh, I'm studying Tibetan. I just wanted to show you my text." And he said, "Oh, let me see. Let me look at it. Let me take a look." And so he looked at it, and then he said, "Oh, very good." And he looked at it and he handed it to another friend, a copy of it. He says, "You know this by memory, right? Let's just recite the beginning of it for Annie," because he said, the language is blessed. It is the language of the Bodhisattvas, Tibetan. And so they recited the beginning. They said, "Okay, you'll be okay. Just stay with the text. Don't be distracted. And the text will tell you everything you need to know." And then he handed it back. And then that evening when I got home, I could kind of translate it a little. So something happened. I wouldn't be able to say scientifically what happened from the Cleveland Clinic, but I definitely felt very, very inspired from that. So the other few words that I wanted to give to you that also changed my practice is the word for enlightenment, which is in in Sanskrit, it's bodhi, and it's often translated as awakened. And in Tibetan, it is the word Jangchup. And Jangchup is also, as you noticed, a compound two-syllable word. Jang means to purify and cleanse, to clear away, and chup is an accomplishment, mastery, perfection. So what you're doing when you're trying to attain enlightenment is you're trying to purify all of your afflictive behavior, your negativities, your other responses to things, and you're trying to accumulate virtue by mastering a different way of behaving. So Jangchup is bodhi, and you have these two words that are always coming up, usually in English, and not in the Tibetan or the Sanskrit, but definitely they come up in a way that is useful for you to know when you come upon the word enlightenment, and when you can have a different understanding besides that is kind of a big multi-syllable word that I'm supposed to do. Or awakening. Oh, awakening. Does that mean that if I wake up and have a really good night's sleep, then I'll be like perfected all day long? That's maybe not also going to happen. So the other two words that I also wanted to talk about is the word bodhicitta. You already now have an idea of bodhi being about full awakening, being enlightened, and chitta, which is mind. So this is your mind that is aspiring to become enlightened. And how do you do that? Through altruistic activity. The word bodhisattva means someone who, a being who is striving for enlightenment. Now, in the Tibetan, it's the word for bodhicitta is jangchupki sem. So it is the mind, which is aspiring for purification and mastery. And the word jangchup sempa has the word pa is like a heroic mind. So that means that this is a person who has a heroic mind, who is achieving purification and cleansing and accumulation of virtue. So with that, I'm going to start with our practice. And the other thing that I kind of wanted to do, if I can, yes, is that just like Dave, I really found that even though we don't have to, and we are not supposed to actually read it in the practice, the opening verse that His Holiness wrote to show the nature of how has composed this piece. I think it's so beautiful. I'm going to read the verse in Tibetan and then in English, and then also what he wrote about relying on the Guru, because I feel like the opening and the ending colophon that he wrote really gives us an example of what he is like when he is behaving like a human being. He's very humble and he's very inspirational. So I'll begin with that. So I'll read it's the source of all attainments, the yoga of the inseparability of the Guru and Avalokiteshvara. And the Tibetan I'll read to you first. Gyao kun nyingje rangxing chudup cha, yongzuk chin lab duzi okarchen. Lama chenrezi la gubdub ne dei naujor zamur shugapel. So excuse the bad pronunciation, Kedra, but I'm trying to, I really love the verse, and sometimes it gets better or worse depending on how nervous I am. Okay. Having respectfully paid homage to Guru Avalokiteshvara, the essence of the compassion of all the victorious ones, a perfect full moon possessing the white nectar light of blessings, I will compose the ritual of his profound yoga. Reliance on the Guru has been praised numerous times in many sutras and tantras as the root of all blessings and attainments. Similarly, seeing that the Guru who shows one the path non-erroneously is inseparable from the separate deity Making requests to him is in itself the essential and sole basis of the ultimate aim of enlightenment. Furthermore, although one can think that the Guru is one of one essence with any deity in whom one has faith, it is said that love, compassion, and the precious mind of bodhicitta are like the soul life essence of the Mahayana path, and the great compassion is of the utmost importance at the beginning, middle, and end. Yogis who wish to engage in the practice of the yoga of unifying one's own root guru and the supreme deity of compassion, Arya Avalokiteshvara, should gather offerings and other ritual articles at a pleasant location, sit on a comfortable seat, and then, from the state of a special virtuous mind, first engage in the meditations of refuge, bodhicitta, and the four immeasurables. Okay, and then now we can begin the practice. Since I have talked to you, we're going to only read in general the English, but since now that I've spoken to you about the words Sangye and Jangchup, they occur in this first verse, and so you might get a little delight in hearing them aloud now that you know another idea of what they mean. And then I'll read it in Tibetan first, and then we will read it together 2 more times in English. Sangye chudang chugi chunum la jangchu pardu dani gyapsuchi dagi jinsuki pesonam ki dola penche sangye drupada shog. I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my accumulations of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit living beings. I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my accumulations of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit living beings. And now we're going to read the four immeasurables. And each of these four, I'm sure you all know, the first sentence is immeasurable love. The second was immeasurable compassion. The third is immeasurable joy. And the fourth is immeasurable equanimity. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness that knows no suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of attachment and hatred for those held close and distant. And then now we'll continue. We're setting the environment where our practice is occurring. So we can read, and then I will tell you the meaning of Vaidurya again. Everywhere may the ground be pure, free of pebbles and so forth, as level as the palm of the hand, and the nature of Vaidurya and soft. Vaidurya is the Sanskrit word for a blue stone. It for a while was translated as the word lapis lazuli, so you might recognize it when it's referred to in the medicine Buddha practice. It's also been translated as beryl and more recently as sapphire, because then you get the sense of its brilliance. Okay, and continue. Blessing, multiplying, and presenting the offerings. May divine and human offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, become clouds of the finest Samantabhadra offerings, filling the entire realm of space. Now we're going to repeat 3 times the cloud offering mantra, which Geshe Sonam spoke of this morning, so I don't need to give an explanation of that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Pramadane Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tayata Om Vajra Vajra Mahavajra Mahateja Vajra Mahavidya Vajra Mahabodhicitta Vajra Mahabodhi Mandopa Samkramana Vajra Sarva Karma Avarana Vishodhane Vajra Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Pramadane Tathāgataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tayata Om Vajre Vajre Maha Vajre Mahateja Vajre Mahavidya Vajre Mahambodhicitta Vajre Mahabodhi Mandopa Samkramana Vajre Sarva Karma Avarano Vishadane Vajre Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Pramadane Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tayata Om Vajre Vajre Maha Vajre Maha Teja Vajre Maha Vidya Vajre Maha Bodhicitta Vajre Maha Bodhi Mandopa Samkramana Vajre Sarva Karma Avarana Vishodhane Vajre Swaha. Okay. By the power of the truth of the three jewels, the blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the great wealth of the completed two accumulations, and the force of the pure and inconceivable Dharma Dhatu, may these offerings become suchness. And now we begin the visualization, which Geshe, Sonam, and also Dave yesterday explained beautifully. One of the things that you can think of when you're doing visualizations is that the words actually are giving you the environment that you are imagining. And so it can be as vast or specific as you want it to be. And when you're beginning, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to imagine. And so just try to listen to the words and see if that helps you visualize what you're seeing. And you're imagining this occurring, this visualization about at eye level. In the spacious expanse of the spontaneous great bliss Dharmakaya, at the center of heaps of clouds of various Samantabhadra offerings, is the throne of radiant jewels supported by lions, on which is the seat of a lotus, sun, and full moon. On this is the Supreme Arya Lokeshvara, great treasury of compassion, manifesting in the form of a saffron-robed monk, my root guru, the Vajra holding, possessing the three kindnesses, the glorious Jetsun Losang Tenzin Gyatso. You're right, with a radiant pink complexion, pleased and smiling, your right hand is at the heart in the mudra of expounding Dharma, and holds a white lotus marked by a volume of scripture and a sword, while your left hand, let's see, what your left hand is great. Yes, thank you. With the radiant, let's see, you're going down some more, Davis. Yes, and then to page 9, yes. While your left hand, there, thank you. While your left hand is in the mudra of meditative equipoise and holds a 1,000-spoked wheel, you elegantly wear the three Dharma robes of lustrous saffron and a pandit's hat, the color of refined gold. Your aggregates, constituents, sense spheres, and their objects, as well as your limbs, are in nature the complete mandala circle of the fathers and mothers of the 5 families, the male and female bodhisattvas and their wrathful protectors. At the center of a sphere of assembled garlands of 5 colored lights, your 2 legs are in the indestructible Vajra posture, and you send forth heaps of clouds of magical nets for the sake of those to be subdued. And that's the first visualization of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and that is your commitment being the Samaya Sattva. Then, within the heart of the visualization of His Holiness, at your heart is the exalted wisdom being Avalokiteshvara, with 1 face and 4 arms, 1 pair with the palms joined together, and the lower pair holding a mala, crystal mala, and white lotus. He's beautifully adorned with precious ornaments and silken robes. His left breast is covered with the skin of an antelope, and he is in the fullness of youth, sitting cross-legged on a lotus and moon. At his heart is the concentration being, the radiant white letter Hri, from which light rays radiate to the 10 directions. My Guru's 3 places are marked with the 3 Vajras, Om Ah Hum. light rays radiate from the letter Hum at his heart and invite all countless forms of the three jewels. By them dissolving into my guru, he becomes in nature the embodiment of all objects of refuge. And this is the visualization of the triple stacked being that we talked about in class today, or that Geshe Sonam has been teaching us. So now we'll do the 7-limb offering. See, your body, by the radiant and complete marks and signs, liberates on sight. Your unceasing speech possesses the melody of the 60 harmonious sounds, and your mind of vast and profound wisdom and compassion is difficult to fathom. To this ornamental wheel of your three secrets, I respectfully prostrate. Owned and unowned offerings, substances, actually arranged and mentally emanated, my body and enjoyments, and all the collections of thoroughly pure virtue that I have accumulated in the 3 times, I offer to you, imagining them as an ocean of clouds of Samantabhadra offerings. Because of my mind being suppressed by the veiling darkness of ignorance, I have committed negative actions and downfalls, both natural and prescribed misdeeds. Whatever faults of wandering astray that I have committed, I confess in a state of non-referentiality with strong regret and a firm vow to refrain from them in the future. In the heaps of the thoroughly pure virtue accumulated in the 3 times, by the complete liberation of the glorious gurus, by ordinary beings and aryas of the 3 vehicles, and by myself and all others, I sincerely rejoice from my heart. By playing the profound and peaceful melody of the divine music of sacred Dharma, appropriate to the disposition of the different beings to be subdued, I request that you awaken all sentient beings from the sleep of the obstructions to omniscience and the afflictive aspirations, until all living beings have attained the breath of blissful release, of the realization of being free from the extremes of cyclic existence and peace. With your 2 legs in the indestructible Evam, cross-legged posture, please remain firmly on the Vajra throne forever. Having accomplished the prayers of the supreme actions of Samantabhadra, I dedicate all the thoroughly pure, virtuous actions that I have done, am doing, or will do, so that I may be inseparably protected by my venerable Guru and attain complete enlightenment for the sake of all living beings. And just before we do the mandala offering, I'd just like you to close your eyes for a moment to see if you still have that image of the triple stack Buddha in your mind, because sometimes it can leave you when you're practicing. Okay, so now we're going to make the mandala offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun, the moon, I imagine as a Buddha land and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. The body, speech, and mind of myself and others, as well as our wealth and collections of virtues of the 3 times, an excellent and precious mandala together with a mass of Samantabhadra offerings, I visualize and offer it to the Guru, Idam, and the 3 jewels. Through the force of your compassion, please accept them and grant me blessings. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. Now, just recalling this image again of your Guru, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the small Avalokiteshvara at his heart, and the Hri in the heart. We're going to do the blessing by the Guru. From the syllable Hri at the heart of my venerable Guru, nectars and light rays of the 5 colors descend, enter through my crown, and purify all negativities and obstructions. All supreme and common attainments are attained without exception. Now we're going to recite this name mantra. I actually know the other one that Geshe Sonam is better, but since it's here, I think we should just do this one. And we're just going to repeat it a number of times, probably a mala's worth. And I will start by saying it aloud 3 times, and then you can join me there, and then you can say it to yourself. Om A Guru Vajradhara Bhattaraka Manju Shri Vajrinda Sumatikyana Shah Sanadara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarvasiddhi Hum Hum. Om A Guru Vajradhara Bhattaraka Manju Shri Vajrinda Sumatikyana Shah Sanadara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarvasiddhi Hum Hum. Om A Guru Vajradhara Bhattaraka Manju Shri Vajrinda Sumati Jnana Shasana Dara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarvasiddhi Hum Hum. Om A Guru Vajradara Pataraka Manjushri Vajrinda Sumatityana Shasanadara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Hum. Now we can continue. This is the prayer of the graduated path to enlightenment. And so it's something you can say aloud and think about practice through this. It is very good for reflection and also to ask for the kind Lord to give you blessings for your actions. My kind Lord and guide on the unerring path, you're the basis of all temporary and long-term happiness. Having found certainty that you are a mass of countless refuges, please bless me to devote myself to you through pure thought and actions. And the next one. This human life of leisure and fortune cannot be produced by even tens of millions of supremely precious jewels. Once obtained, it is transitory, and when it will be lost is uncertain. Please bless me to never be distracted by the activities and appearances of this life, and to spend my time practicing the sacred Dharma. The supreme protection from the terrors of the lower rebirths that are so difficult to bear is holding strongly onto the ultimate refuge of the three jewels. Thus, by bringing to mind the causes and effects of positive and negative actions, please bless me with the strength to abandon negative actions and accomplish virtuous deeds. Having seen that all the wonders of Ishvara are deceptive, just like the seductions of a Rakshasi, this is a female demon, and propelled by fierce renunciation, please bless me to practice the three trainings. Having considered that mother living beings have kindly cared for me since beginningless time, are suffering through the troubles of cyclic existence in peace, please bless me to generate the supreme mind of enlightenment and train in an ocean of bodhisattva activities. Please bless me to generate in my mind the yoga uniting calm abiding and special insight, beautified by non-cessation, 100,000 marvels of primordial emptiness free from extremes, reflected on the face of the mirror of my very clear and unwavering meditative equipoise. Having entered the gate, a very profound mantra, through the kindness of my virtuous friend, of qualified Vajra holder, please bless me with the strength to guard properly my vows and commitments, the roots of attainments. Having completely cut the flow of the all karmic creating karmic wind, with the sharp sword of the exalted wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness, please bless me to realize in this life the Mahamudra of great bliss, the union of body and mind. Having thus requested, my Supreme Guru joyfully approaches and descends through my Brahma aperture and dissolves into the indestructible drop at the center of my 8-petaled heart. Again, he arises in the form of my Guru on a lotus and moon. At the heart of the triple-stacked being, visualized as before, is a Hri encircled by a 6-syllable mantra garland. A stream of nectar descends from them, cleansing away all illnesses, spirits, negativities, and obstructions, and increasing all good qualities of scripture and realization. All the blessings of the victorious ones and their children are received. Again, light radiates, cleansing away the faults of the environment of and its inhabitants. I rest in the supreme yoga in which appearances, sounds, and thoughts are held as the Arya's three secrets. And now we're going to do the mantras recitation of Om Mani Padme Hum. I thought what we could do is begin by doing the sung version of it, and it's a pretty familiar melody since it seems to be used quite often in other parts of the practice. And then we'll do 7 manis like that, and then we'll go to your own recitation in a normal voice, and let's do I'd like to do maybe 3 malas of mantras, and then I'll bring the group back in together again. Because I've been kind of nervous, I've been speaking rather fast, so this is a time for you to find your center and my center through the mantra of Avalokiteshvara. And just remember, I meant to say this before in case some people don't know, the word mantra means mind protection. So when you're saying a mantra repeatedly, if you continue to say it for a while, you'll start noticing a change in how your mind feels. And sometimes you feel a resonance in your whole body that the sounds, these sacred syllables are giving you, that can bring you calmness and a sense of being able to approach things that you thought were difficult in a different way. So this is sort of an introduction to the Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum. Om 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 mani padme hum. Okay, let's stabilize the practice with the recitation of the 100-syllable mantra. Om Padma Sattva Samaya Manupalaya Padma Sattva Divinobatishta Drido Me Bhava Sutoshayo Me Bhava Suboshayo Me Bhava Anarakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddha Me Prayakcha Sarva Kamasucha Me Chitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Padma Mame Muncha Padma Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Pe. And then now the dedications from this practice. Through the splendor of 100,000 full moons of excellent deeds such as this, may the smiling blossoms of teaching and practice in the Kunda garden of the Dharma tradition of the victorious one, the treasury of wisdom, beautify the whole world until the end of cyclic existence by making everything auspicious. May the great jeweled victory banner of Gandhin's governance, resplendent with tens of millions of perfect virtues and excellences, never be lowered, but be raised high over the three worlds, satisfying hundreds of thousands of desires for benefit and happiness. Having cast far the darkness of the degenerations of the times that is spread across the vast expanse of the beautiful earth, with the great propitious signs of the increasing splendor of happiness, may sentient beings, free of care, become self-assured. In brief, by the force of being inseparably and joyfully cared for by you, Protector, throughout my successive lives, may I easily and quickly arrive in the Lord of all's great capital of union. Through the force of the marvelous compassion of the victorious ones and their children, may all masses of discord and difficulty be pacified at all times and in all directions. May the excellent virtues of cyclic existence and peace spread and increase like the waxing moon. And may there be the auspiciousness of the flourishing of propitious signs. And then now I'd like to read this colophon that gives an example of the humbleness of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, though he is such a great being. Due to the power of his faith, the supremely virtuous assistant Kalon Shenkawa Gyurme Tonsonam Tobgyal presented offerings and made entreaties, saying that he needed a brief yet complete glance meditation of the entire path of the Guru Yoga, of the inseparability of myself and Avalokiteshvara, with the recitation of the name mantra in 6 syllables, as well as complete instructions on what should be done in a way that was easy to practice. Although it is unreasonable for me to write a Guru Yoga text such as this, focusing on myself, if one has faith, then just like the dog's tooth turned into a ring cell relic, if disciples truly have faith and respect, they will receive the blessing of the Buddha even from an ordinary being. Thinking that it may be of benefit to some devotees, I, the one with the name of holder of the white lotus, Shakye Gejong Jampel Ngawang Losang Yeshe Tenzin Gyatso, composed this. And that is the entire practice that we have been doing in sort of an abbreviated form. I find it extremely moving that His Holiness the Dalai Lama wrote this for us to practice. It is written with such knowledge and humility. So now, since it's still quite early, Dave, I'd like to do the Samanta Bhadra King of Prayers that you.
Okay, let me pull it up.
Yeah, thank you.
It might take me 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's okay.
There we go.
I really appreciate it, since my nerves would have made them go everywhere. Okay. Although it's getting better now. Okay. So this is the King of Prayers. And as you know, Samantabhadra was well known for his ability to make beautiful offerings. And Geshe Sonam's description of all the light rays coming out from his fingers and his body, and then with smaller Samantabhadras doing the same thing. It's kind of mind-blowing, I think, what he could do. And this is, I think, a wonderful way to pay homage. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri, you lions among humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you, with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to you, all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for on each and every atom are Buddhas, numberless as atoms, each amidst a host of bodhisattvas, and I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you gone to bliss. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to you, victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array I offer to you, victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and confusion, all these I openly lay before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all positive potential of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers, hearers still training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who have attained a Buddha's omniscience, the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight positive potential I may have created by paying homage, offering, and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening. May you Buddhas now living in the worlds of 10 directions and all you gone to freedom in the past accept my offerings. May those not yet arisen quickly perfect their minds, awakening as fully enlightened ones. May all worlds in 10 directions be entirely pure and vast. May they be filled with bodhisattvas, surrounding Buddhas gathered beneath a Bodhi tree. May as many beings as exist in 10 directions be always well and happy. May all samsaric beings live in accord with the Dharma, and may their every Dharma wish be fulfilled. Remembering my past lives and all varieties of existence, may I practice the Bodhisattva way, and thus, in each cycle of death, migration, and birth, may I always abandon the householder's life. Then, following in the footsteps of all the Buddhas and perfecting the practice of a bodhisattva, may I always act without error or compromise, with ethical discipline faultless and pure. May I teach the Dharma in the language of gods, in every language of spirits and nagas, of humans and demons, and in the voice of every form of being. May I be gentle-minded, cultivating the 6 paramitas, and never forget bodhicitta. May I completely cleanse without omission every negativity and all that obscures this awakening mind. May I traverse all my lives in the world, free of karma, afflictions, and interfering forces, just as the lotus blossom is undisturbed by the water's wave, just as the sun and moon move unhindered through the sky. May I ease the suffering in the lower realms and in the many directions and dimensions of the universe. May I guide all wanderers in samsara to the pure bliss of awakening and be of worldly benefit to them all as well. May I practice constantly for eons to come, perfecting the activities of awakening, acting in harmony with the various dispositions of beings, showing the ways of a bodhisattva. May I always have the friendship of those whose path is like mine, and with body, words, and also mind, may we practice together the same aspirations and activities. May I always meet a spiritual mentor and never displease that excellent friend who deeply wishes to help me and expertly teaches the Bodhisattva way. May I always directly see the Buddhas, masters encircled by Bodhisattvas, and without pause or discouragement for eons to come, may I make extensive offerings to them. May I hold within me the Buddha's genuine Dharma, illuminate everywhere the teachings that awaken, embody the realizations of a bodhisattva, and practice ardently in all future eons. While circling through all states of existence, may I become an endless treasure of good qualities, skillful means, wisdom, samadhi, and liberating stabilizations, gathering limitless, pristine wisdom and positive potential. On one atom, I shall see Buddha fields, numberless as atoms, inconceivable Buddhas among bodhisattvas in every field, practicing the activities of awakening. Perceiving this in all directions, I dive into an ocean of Buddha fields, each an ocean of 3 times Buddhas in the space of a wisp of hair. So I too will practice for an ocean of eons. Thus, I am continually immersed in the speech of the Buddhas, expression that reveals an ocean of qualities in one word, the completely pure eloquence of all the Buddhas, communication suited to the varied tendencies of beings. With strength of understanding, I plunge into the infinite enlightened speech of the Dharma, of all Buddhas and 3 times gone to freedom who continually turn the wheel of Dharma methods. I shall experience in one moment such vast activity of all future eons, and I will enter into all eons of the 3 times in but a fraction of a second. In one instant, I will see all those awakened beings, past, present, and future lions among humans, and with the power of the illusion-like stabilization, I will constantly engage in their inconceivable activity. I shall manifest upon one single atom the array of pure lands present, past, and future. Likewise, I shall enter the array of pure Buddha fields in every direction without exception. I shall enter the very presence of all my guides, those lights of this world who are yet to appear, those sequentially turning the wheel of complete awakening, those who reveal nirvana, final, perfect peace. May I achieve the power of swift magical emanation, the power to lead to the great vehicle through every approach, the power of always beneficial activity, the power of love pervading all realms, the power of all surpassing positive potential, the power of supreme knowledge unobstructed by discrimination, and through the power of wisdom, skillful means, and samadhi, may I achieve the perfect power of awakening, purifying the power of all contaminated actions, crushing the power of disturbing emotions at their root, Diffusing the power of interfering forces, I shall perfect the power of the Bodhisattva practice. May I purify an ocean of worlds. May I free an ocean of beings. May I clearly see an ocean of Dharma. May I realize an ocean of pristine wisdom. May I purify an ocean of activities. May I fulfill an ocean of aspirations. May I make offerings to an ocean of Buddhas. May I practice without discouragement for an ocean of eons. To awaken fully through this Bodhisattva way, I shall fulfill without exception all the diverse aspirations of the awakening practice of all Buddhas gone to freedom in the 3 times everywhere. In order to practice exactly as the wise one called Samantabhadra, all-embracing good, the elder brother of the sons and daughters of the Buddhas, I completely dedicate all this goodness. Likewise, may I dedicate, just as the skillful Samantabhadra, with pure body, speech, and mind, pure actions, and pure Buddha fields. I shall give rise to the aspirations of Manjushri, for this Bodhisattva practice of all-embracing good, to perfect these practices without discouragement or pause in all future eons. May my pure activities be endless, my good qualities boundless, and through abiding in immeasurable activity, may I actualize infinite emanations. Limitless is the end of space. Likewise, limitless are living beings. Thus, limitless are karma and afflictions. May my aspirations reach be limitless as well. One may offer to the Buddhas all wealth and adornments of infinite worlds in 10 directions, and one may offer during eons numberless as atoms of the world, even the great happiness of gods and humans. But whoever hears this extraordinary aspiration and longing for the highest awakening gives rise to faith just once, creates far more precious positive potential. Those who make this heartfelt aspiration for the Bodhisattva way will be free of all lower rebirths, free of harmful companions, and will quickly see Amitabha, infinite light. And in this very human life, they will be nourished by happiness and have all conducive circumstances without waiting long. They will become like Samantabhadra himself. Those who give voice to this extraordinary aspiration will quickly and completely purify the 5 boundless harmful actions created under the power of ignorance. Blessed with supreme knowledge, excellent body, family, attributes, and appearance, they will be invincible to vast interfering forces and misleading teachers, and all the 3 worlds will make offerings. Going quickly to the noble Bodhi tree and sitting there to benefit sentient beings, subduing all interfering forces, they will fully awaken and turn the great wheel of Dharma. Have no doubt that complete awakening is the fully ripened result, comprehended only by a Buddha, of holding in mind by teaching, reading, or reciting this aspiration of the Bodhisattva practice. In order to train just like the hero Manjushri, who knows reality as it is, and just like Samantabhadra as well, I completely dedicate all this goodness just as they did. With that dedication, which is praised as greatest by all the Buddhas gone to freedom in the 3 times, I too dedicate all my roots of goodness for the attainments of the Bodhisattva practice. When the moment of my death arrives, by eliminating all obscurations and directly perceiving Amitabha, may I go immediately to Sukhavati, pure land of great joy. Having gone to Sukhavati, may I actualize the meaning of these aspirations, fulfilling them without exception, for the benefit of beings for as long as this world endures. Born from an extremely beautiful, superlative lotus in this joyful land, the Buddha's magnificent mandala, may I receive a prediction of my awakening directly from the Buddha Amitabha. Having received a prediction there, may I create vast benefit for beings throughout the 10 directions with 1 billion emanations by the power of wisdom. Through even the small virtue I've accumulated by offering this prayer of the Bodhisattva practice, may all positive aspirations of beings be filled in an instant. Through creating limitless positive potential, by dedicating this prayer, Samanta Bhadra's deeds, may all beings drowning in this torrent of suffering enter the presence of Amitabha. Through this king of aspirations, which is the greatest of the sublime, helping infinite wanderers in samsara, through the accomplishment of the scripture dazzling with Samantabhadra's practice, may suffering realms be utterly emptied of all beings. Thank you. And then let's like to do the bodhicitta prayer and the emptiness one. And just before we actually read that, I'd like to take a moment now just to go back to that first meditation we did where we were breathing and counting and see how your counting is now. So it's the Abhidharma meditation. You're going to place your hands, the left hand holding the right, the thumbs touching, looking downwards, and we have done nearly the complete practice. And just check how your mind is by breathing and counting from 1 to 10 in your inhale 1, exhale 2, and do that 2 times through. Okay, and just dissolve that meditation and we'll do the bodhicitta prayer. May the precious Supreme Bodhicitta not yet born arise. May that arisen not decline, but increase more and more. May the precious view of emptiness not yet born arise. May that arisen not decline, but increase more and more. And then a short prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I'd like to do the Tibetan first and then the English. Kangri rawe korwe shingham dir pendang dewa malu jungwe ne chenre si wang tenzen gyatsoi shape si te pardu tengyur jig. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you're the source of all happiness and good, all-powerful Chenrezi Tenzin Gyatso. Please remain until samsara ends. And then if we could, oh yes, let's do this one also. The Savior, the first, His Holiness's wishes to be spontaneously fulfilled. Savior of the land of snows, teachings, and transmigratory beings, who extensively clarifies the path that unifies emptiness and compassion, To the lotus holder, Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And then I'd just like to end with that last verse from Shantideva's Bodhisattva Way of Life. It's okay, I'll just say it in Tibetan and in English. Chisi namka nebadang, towa jisi nekupa, desi dani nekune doe dumyang sawara shug. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, so may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. May we, through meeting each other and doing this short practice, please think that we also have the power to spread goodness in the world. And may we be representatives of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie.
You're very
Thanks so
welcome.
much.
Thank you so much for doing this, Annie. It's very, very kind.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. I went through that arc of but what a nice group of people to be.
You are wonderful, Annie. I've been with you 3 years. You're wonderful.
Thank you, Asha. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful. Bye.
Thank you, Margie. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Annie.
Thanks,
you're-
Annie, for sharing.
you're
Take care,
very-
everybody.
Thank you. Thanks.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah, and Geshe-la will be giving the transmission tomorrow morning for those who are
Oh,
able to come
yes,
to the
that's
morning.
wonderful. Yes.
Yeah.
And the Manjushri from His Holiness Dalai Lama.
This evening.
This
Yes.
evening, yeah.
Yes. So we'll be very, very, very blessed.
Indeed.
And every time you hear the word Sangye, you can be really happy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Minoshi.
Bye, Annie. Thanks. Take care of yourself. You did very well. I was very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.